Wow, so we just got finished watching Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 9, and what an episode. Maybe the best hour of television ever. Best battle scene in a film, possibly. It's definitely in competition for that vote. And as we discussed last week on this program, Rickon did meet his end. We also found a fitting end for Ramsay and all his sickery, but we are now left without a resident psychopath in Game of Thrones. Since day one, we've had a face to the evil. We've had Joffrey from the very first episode that we could love to hate. Then we had Ramsay before he even died that we love to hate even more. Now we're left with no one. Some people say there's of course the White Walkers. Well, White Walkers don't have much of a personality. Do we really hate them with all of our being and every molecule of our bodies like we hated Ramsay, or are we just scared of them? Some people say Cersei, the Lannisters, and Jaime, but they're really anti-heroes. I mean, Cersei actually has some fans who are rooting for her, especially because of the fact that everybody hates the High Sparrow so much and everybody hates Lancel so much. We even see a little bit of sympathy shown towards Cersei, or at least the character of Cersei, when Arya is meeting with Lady Crane, and Lady Crane is playing Cersei in her play. Also, has Cersei ever done anything that's even remotely as bad as Joffrey or Ramsay? A lot of people mistakenly think that she had Ned Stark killed. Actually, she wanted him sent to the wall. She's done a lot of bad things, but she's not exactly a sociopath, psychopath like Ramsay and these guys. She's really more of an anti-hero. Jaime, of course, pushed Bran out of a window, and a lot of people think that that's an unredeemable sin that he did. But Martin and the show have both spent a lot of time on these characters, Jaime and Cersei. Ramsay never got his own POV chapters in the books. Joffrey never got his own POV chapters in the books, but Cersei and Jaime did. And in both the books and the shows, they spent a lot of time trying to redeem these people, showing the reader how you could see it from Cersei or Jaime's perspective, and while you might not agree, at least they can be at the level of an anti-hero rather than a true villain. I really think we need another villain. And I'm going to tell you who I think it's going to be at the end of this video, but first I want to talk about some of the other theories that other people have and some of the predictions that people have for this next season and what my own predictions are. Now, on a recent talk show, Sophie Turner and Masie Williams, the actors who play Arya and Sansa, had a two truths game. So each one of them was expected to say two truths and one false statement about Game of Thrones in this season. Sophie Turner's three were: 1, Ramsay dies; 2, Lady Stoneheart returns; number 3, Arya checks 3 people off her list. Masie Williams' 3 statements were: 1, Arya goes to Westeros back over the sea. Number 2 is Arya is in the trailer more times than people realize because they don't realize it's her. And 3, Arya doesn't cross any more names off her list. Now, if we analyze this at first glance, we know that Ramsay's died because we've just seen this episode. So Sophie's first statement is true. The second one, Lady Stoneheart returns. Now, a lot of talk has been about this. A lot of people want Lady Stoneheart to return. According to the leaked cast roll of next season, the actor that plays Catelyn Stark is not returning. We've seen Beric Dondarrion, and supposedly Lady Stoneheart has got the life force that kept Beric Dondarrion alive. So that seems to rule out Lady Stoneheart's return as well. However, we are going to come back to that possibility in just a second. Sophie's third statement was Arya checks 3 people off her list. Let's move on to Masie Williams' statements. The first one is Arya goes to Westeros back over the sea. We know that's true because we just saw her saying that that's where she's going, to Jaqen. Number 2, Arya is in the trailer more times than people have realized because they don't realize it's her. We don't know if that one's true, just like the second statement from Sophie. Number 3 is a contradiction of Sophie's statement. She says Arya doesn't cross any more names off her list. So we know that one of the statements from Sophie or Masie about Arya's list has to be a lie. So one of their lies is in that statement. Most people look at those 6 statements and they think about it just like this. We know Lady Stoneheart isn't going to return, so we know that's the lie from Sophie Turner. Ramsay dies. Her other statement is that Arya checks 3 people off her list. Arya must be going to check 3 people off her list. Now there's only 3 people on their list. If Arya's 3 people all get checked off of that list, that means that Cersei, the Mountain, and Walder Frey all die. Arya doesn't necessarily have to kill them for them to get checked off her list. So a lot of people are theorizing that Cersei must burn King's Landing with her Pyromancer and end up dying in that accident, and the Mountain must die in it too. Maybe Arya sneaks into the Frey wedding that we saw in the previews of the finale of this season, and she murders Walder Frey, or assassinates Walder Frey. That would make Sophie Turner's statement true. If you look at Masie Williams' statements, we know that she did go back to Westeros, or she's heading back over Westeros. We don't know that she's in the trailer more times. She could have been alluding to the previews where you saw her facing off the waif, and that could have been a little leak to make everybody wonder about the face-off or Fight Club possibility. They were definitely trying to lead us into an idea that that might not be Arya who got stabbed. The way that they foreshadowed events and the way that they had Arya acting in the market, I think that they purposely planted some little hints that made us think that it might not be Arya, or might not be the waif. Arya might be Jaqen. Didn't turn out to be so, but this interview happened before that episode, so she might have been playing another little trick on us with that. Or she might be referring to the blonde serving girl at the Frey wedding that we saw in the previews. Several people think this, that the little blonde serving girl is actually Arya in disguise, and she's about to assassinate Walder Frey. That's a possibility. The third statement, though, is Arya doesn't cross any more names off her list. Now, Sophie's statement that Arya does cross 3 names off her list is true, then Masie's can't be that she doesn't strike 3 names off her list. So at first glance for this, and what most people think when they see this information is this: Ramsay dies, check. Lady Stoneheart does not return, that is Sophie's lie. Arya checks 3 people off her list. That would be the Mountain, Cersei, and Walder Frey. Masie's statements: Arya goes to Westeros, back over the sea, check, we know that's true. 2, Arya is in the trailer more times than people have realized because they don't realize it's her. That's probably true. And 3, Arya doesn't cross any more names off of her list. That's the one that's false. That's what everybody's thinking. That's what everybody's predicting. But I'm not so sure, and I'll tell you why.